What's going on, guys? Welcome back to ETB Boxing, where we bring the story behind every punch and every fight. Look, here are my thoughts about Crawford versus Canelo. I had been speaking on my videos, those of you who have watched them, and I said something. I was saying something, and I was consistent about it. Well, first of all, before I even talk about my thoughts on Crawford versus Canelo, is Crawford deserves all the flowers. He boxed his behind off. It was beautiful. If you're a boxing purist, you know that we saw something special, and Crawford deserves it. He's one of those fighters that really didn't get the big fights throughout his career. He had one or two before Canelo, maybe, but he was a guy that, wasn't in it like Floyd Mayweather to, build his brand, and it was about money. He was in it for legacy, and good for him, man. He deserves all the flowers. And Crawford's always been one of my favorite fighters, and, I don't know what he's going to do after this, but, Crawford deserves all his flowers. Having said that, throughout this whole buildup, I had been saying it was going to be a 70-30 fight. I just didn't know who. It was never a 50-50 fight. And what we found out, guys, is that, after 3 or 4 rounds, you realized, Crawford is boxing his butt off. And it was just a matter of, can he sustain it for 12 rounds? And he did. He did. He proved a lot of doubters wrong. And he showed why he's the pound for pound best boxer in this era. He had the weight, wasn't an issue at all. Did he hurt Canelo? No, but he didn't need to. People thought he was going to get knocked out. That was never going to happen. Eddie Hearn said it best, for casuals, you probably thought the boxing match was boring, but Eddie Hearn said it best. He was going to have to box a boring fight. But for boxing purists, you know how Terence Crawford boxed was beautiful. And he played on Canelo's weaknesses, moving around, frustrated Canelo. And, he got the job done, and he deserves all the flowers. No credit is taken away from Crawford for this win. No excuses. He won. There's some people saying, oh, he dominated the fight. The cards were 116, 112, 115, 113, 115, 113 on both judges' scorecards. If 2 rounds were close and they did it the other way, then we potentially could have had a different outcome. But I'm glad we didn't. We don't need to see more. I hope they don't do a rematch. I don't think there's anything that Crawford needs to prove. Terence Bud Crawford is the man. He showed us why he's special. He showed us that he is the best of this era, and he deserves to be mentioned one of the best of all time with the other greats. Terence Crawford, a very special fighter. I just wanted to share my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. That's the punch. That's the story. That's ETB Boxing.